My name is Jim Upton, and I'm with Iris's Technical Pre-Sales Group in the US. Today, we're going to explore how your practice management system, data warehouse, and visualization tools such as Power BI can be combined to give you easy access to information that can help you to understand your business and drive it to new heights. Before we dive into that, however, who exactly is Iris? Iris is a UK-based company that specializes in solutions for three verticals: accountancy, HR, and education. As you can see, Iris is a dominant player in these spaces in the UK, and now they're leveraging that experience to help the US market. Practice Engine is a key piece of our accountancy solutions. So what problem are we trying to solve? Efficiently managing an accounting practice is a complex proposition. It starts with finding prospects and converting them to clients without losing any of the information that you've gathered in the process. Once they're clients, you're faced with tracking time and expenses while using workflow tools to make sure that their tasks are progressing according to plan. Then there's billing and receiving payments, making sure that you're effortlessly generating bills for the proper amount and getting them to the client while tracking payments and collection efforts. All of this activity generates a torrent of data. The problem that you face now is how to make sense of all that data so that you can run your business. A complex problem requires an integrated solution, and Practice Engine has you covered. Practice Engine has full functionality to cover all the major points that an accounting firm needs to address to run efficiently. It's cloud-based and mobile-friendly and has integrated workflow, time, billing, budgeting, and scheduling. Overlaying it all are robust analytical tools to keep you in touch with your business. Our goal today is to help you understand how to drive through all the clutter and get to the actionable information that's hidden within your practice management data. At this point, I'd like to introduce Steve Mika from SkyPoint Cloud. SkyPoint Cloud has been a valued partner of Iris's for many years. Steve and his team have built and deployed a template application in Power BI that converts the raw data held inside a Practice Engine into actionable insights. So Steve, it's all yours.
Thank you very much, Jim. Let me hit a few buttons here. Let me know if you guys can all see my screen.
Yes, we can.
All right, great. Well, thank you very much, Jim, for the introduction. And here at SkyPoint Cloud, we have been partners with Practice Engine for quite some time, several years now. It's been a great experience, worked with several clients collaboratively, and can't say enough great things about the relationship that we've developed. Now, what I want to talk a little bit about is what you do with all this actionable information that you've got inside of Practice Engine. As more firms are exploring self-service business intelligence reporting, they want to be able to achieve in-house reporting demands, as well as a means to combine their data from CRM, sales, IT, and other data sources with the environment of the major data visualization tools. Running complex reports via the production database in Practice Engine can really impact performance. Processing large reports can take more than a moment or two to run, really block the application transactions, and can slow down the entire system for everybody. So we have a solution. With Practice Engine Data Warehouse, you get a simplified version of the main Practice Engine database that has been optimized for creating and running larger and more complex reports with business intelligence software. The advantages of the data warehouse include that will allow for those complex reports without affecting the production site, and you can avoid slowing down the performance of the entire system. So everybody on your team can continue working per usual. The problems that occur often really impact the business as a whole. So Practice Engine Data Warehouse enables users to connect to a multitude of reporting solutions that to the Practice Engine Data Warehouse without needing to navigate production database or conflicting with active users of the application. So just kind of wanted to give you a rundown of what we're talking about, the problem that a lot of you guys are facing when it comes to self-service analytics and business intelligence, and the solution that Power BI and Practice Engine Data Warehouse really provide. So we're going to talk a little bit about the agenda today. I won't take up too much of your time, but I do want to give you a good rundown of Power BI. So the ecosystem, Power Query, DAX, and Star Schema Design, really the underlying layers that make Power BI tick. I also really want to dive into Practice Engine Data Warehouse as a data source and really overview the entities and technical documentation, and really even give you a walkthrough of just how easy it is to get your Power BI reporting running once you get Practice Engine Data Warehousing as your data source. Also want to talk a little about Power BI Service. That is going to be where your end users consume all these reports. That's where you're going to share, where you're going to set administrative and governance, and then data refresh. And then doing a little bit more advanced concepts, how you can connect this all to Excel that I'm sure you all know and love. So let's talk a little bit about SkyPoint Cloud. SkyPoint Cloud has two arms, really. We're a professional services consultancy blended with a managed service platform, or a modern data stack platform. We are based in Portland, Oregon. Our professional services arm has been around for over 30 years. We have over 100 employees, and we handle just about everything when it comes to data architecture and business intelligence. We'll talk a little bit more about our data platform. We are really leveraging AI. I'm sure many of you have heard about ChatGPT and all the looming AI integrations. We are on the forefront driving digital transformation by tapping into the unbeatable combination of the modern data stack platform and our professional services, and leveraging the tools that AI are going to provide to all of us. So a little bit more about our background. We are a huge training and mentoring shop. If you've ever heard of Power BI, Dashboard in a Day, or App in a Day, we run several training courses that are free to really up-level your skills with Power BI, with Power Apps, Power Automate, and even modern Excel. We also deliver trainings directly to clients. So if you ever need on-site or virtual trainings for your team, we have one of the best trainers in the world that delivers fantastic training that can help a variety of skill sets, from your beginner Power BI user to those wanting to really dive into the fundamentals of DAX, that underlying coding language of Power BI that gets extremely complex. We are also a custom app dev shop. For about 30 years, our foundation is built on that, from .NET full stack customized applications to your low code, pro code Power Apps ecosystem, really working closely with organizations to develop apps that include the needs of both business users and the IT department. Also, data strategy experts, everything from data warehouse implementations to strategy roadmaps, governance. If it has data in it, we've probably touched it. We can be an advisor to you and help you along the path. And managed BI. One of our biggest verticals, we are Power BI masterminds. We have touched every facet of the Power BI ecosystem for a variety of industries, and we can really help streamline the process for you and optimize your costs and resourcing. So let's talk a little bit about Power BI. I'm sure you guys have heard about all the different data visualization tools out there, and Power BI is one of the biggest. And one of my favorite things about Power BI, one of the reasons it is far better than the competitors, in my opinion, are the first two categories here: the extract, transform, and load category, and modeling. So what Power BI allows you to do that a lot of other visualization tools don't is be able to pull in data from different sources and model it in the ecosystem in a way that's rather user-friendly compared to your pro coding SQL and all that. So the ability to do that, to create clean data sets that then give your organization a reliable data set, self-service analytics, and a single source of truth that you can leverage across different applications. It's really one of the backbones and the powerhouse features of Power BI. But of course, you're going to have your data visualization, making nice visualizations that people can slice and dice with, tons of different options. Please don't use pie charts, but for the rest of it, just a great tool to present in a very, very interactive way with a lot of color, tons of different external options to add different visualizations, just a great tool from that. And then also your publishing is a great tool to deliver content to your audience. There's all types of add-ons where you can have Power BI embedded where you're delivering to external sources. Just being able to really leverage all the hard work and the entire ecosystem of Power BI, it just gives a fantastic data visualization tool that includes the ability to model data, and that is a big, big feature. So what is Power BI? Who uses what? There are two main features of Power BI. First is Power BI Desktop. This is your workstation. This is where you're going to transform data. You're going to do your DAX calculations. You're going to set up your row level security. This is where you're going to build most of your visualizations. It's really the workstation. And one of the coolest things about Power BI Desktop, it is free. So you can use Power BI Desktop, you can make PBIX files, you can pass them around, and you don't have to pay for it. It is only until you leverage the Power BI service that you start needing to wade into the waters of licensing. Power BI service, that's where your dashboards are going to be, your workspaces and apps. That's where you're going to set data refresh, sharing features. It's a lot of the governance and administration, also setting up subscriptions, and you'll get a lot of the Analyze and Excel features there. And that's one of the coolest things about it. Not only can you use Power BI on your data sets that you've created there, but you can leverage those data sets in Excel and have to be less worrisome about data security, data governance. You know that that data has already been modeled correctly. You know that the work has been done to create a reliable data set that you don't have to worry about for data. You also do have some features that work across both. So there are some features in the online service that allow you to do data visualizations and do data modeling. Our recommendation is to generally focus on doing all your hard work and creation of development in the Power BI Desktop. many of you use Excel. You probably know that if you're on the online version of Excel and you also have somebody in the desktop app of Excel playing at the same time, that can create source control issues. So generally speaking, that is similar in the Power BI world. It's best to do development in the desktop. So again, report authors, they're going to live in Power BI desktop. Report consumers, they're going to live in Power BI service. So let's dive a little bit more into the Power BI ecosystem. So on the left side, those are going to be your source systems. In this case, we're going to talk about Practice Engine data warehouse tables, also Excel files. You're going to load them in and do your ETL processes using the M queries and really do some data cleansing in that early stage. Then you're going to feed that into the data model. And that's where you're going to create relationships. You're going to really establish the tables of the who, what, where, when, and why. And then you do a lot of your measures to calculate those complex business metrics. Then you pull that into the visualization page and you do DAX queries to create advanced visualizations and really dial into the data, and also your final export the reports. So that is going to be the visualizations that eventually you will turn into the service, and those are going to show your end users. So why is data warehouse easier to use than the Practice Engine management system for analysis? Why do you want PE data warehouse? So a data warehouse pulls together data from a database and then selects, organizes, and aggregates this data for easy comparison and analysis while maintaining strict integrity and accuracy. And that is, again, a key component here. You want that data accuracy and integrity. So the Practice Engine data warehouse is a simplified version of the main Practice Engine production database, but it has been optimized for business intelligence reporting and data visualization. It uses a star schema tabular warehouse representation of all the key data in Practice Engine's production database, and we continue to implement new key data fields or measures as your business needs evolved. The structure of the Practice Engine data warehouse has been created specifically to work best with Power BI. Star schema data modeling, that is the underpinning of much of Microsoft's data modeling empire, and it is key in Power BI. Power BI is not required for reporting on a PE data warehouse. You can use tools like Tableau, Click, and Looker, but they are not optimized, and they're going to require additional steps to set up, and that means more money. So star schema design, it's pretty simple. Reason why it's called a star schema, you can kind of tell it looks like a star. So you've got your who, what, where, when, whys. Those are your product DIMs, those are your customer DIMs, and then you've got your sales facts. How many, the concrete metrics. And so facts tables are going to contain those business events. The dimension tables are going to contain the characteristics events. So dimension tables are going to be your service in charge, your WIP, your staff attributes, etc. And then fact tables, that's going to be your budgets, your performance, receivables, opportunities, more easily definable metrics. And this is what a WIP data model is going to look like in Power BI. And you can again see that star schema. It's a star. So Practice Engine data warehouse as the data source really is just so great at presenting a simplified data model containing all of that PE data. The data warehouse can't be altered, but additional information can be brought in from the transactional engine, Practice Engine tables, and then queries against the tables may impact your user's performance. So generally we recommend on this early part of this, really focus on what you already are pulling out of the data warehouse. Don't try to manipulate it too much. That's more of an advanced thing that you'll move on down the line. But you can also mash up data from Practice Engine in Power BI or an enterprise data warehouse. But we just suggest Power BI first. It's the easiest way. It's seamless out of the box. I'll show you in a little bit how easy it is to set up. Some of the key benefits that you get with Practice Engine data warehouse, it really empowers you to meet demands for running complex reports based on your exact business needs, and allows you to very quickly explore data for reporting without adversely affecting the speed of that main Practice Engine production database and portal. The PE data warehouse data is super easy to use, access, understand, compared to the main production database, which is definitely a bit more complex. And then building, and this is one of the big factors I haven't touched on enough. So, at SkyPoint, we have implemented probably 100+ data warehouse migrations, data warehouse implementations. They can be extremely expensive. They can be fraught with peril. They usually take quite a long time. One of the main benefits that you're going to get with Practice Engine data warehouse is the time to value. You really can get a data warehouse stood up and functioning in a much faster way for, quite frankly, a much lower cost than it would cost to build greenfield, to build starting fresh. And the other biggest factor is the ability to access immediately out of the box a bundle of standardized Microsoft Power BI reports using Practice Engine data warehouse. And that's what we've brought to the table for Practice Engine, is being able to, you stand this up, you've got your data in there already, you don't have to come to somebody to build up all these Practice Engine Power BI reports. They're ready to go right out of the box. So how are you going to share those reports? There are a few key points about the Power BI sharing ecosystem, the Power BI service, that we do want to touch on, specifically dashboards. A lot of folks think of a dashboard, they think of that end user product. They think of that final BI report that the end user is going to consume. It's not exactly the same thing in Power BI. A dashboard in Power BI is actually going to be pin tiles from various reports. It's not going to be drillable. When you click on them, it actually goes into the report it came from, and then you can slice and dice all the data. But the dashboard is more something, you know, say you have key metrics, key KPIs that you want to present to leadership. You have a focused team that only really wants to consume certain parts of each report. That's the perfect way to use a dashboard. There's some really cool features with dashboard, like automatic alerts that you can set up when a metric goes up or below a certain threshold. You'll also have Q&A, really easy to do subscription and sharing from that. So great kind of a organized way to present just key metrics without really drilling in. Reports, those are the things that you've built in the desktop. That's where you can drill in and slice and dice the data. You'll have workbooks in there as well. So again, you Excel fans, you can really leverage the work that goes into those data models within Power BI in your Excel environment. So you can rely on that data. Don't have to worry about stuff being fat fingered, but you can still play in the tool that you know and love and use forever. And then data sets, those are your underlying data models that you built. That's your M query, that's your DAX, that's your Power Query. It's really that self-service model of refreshing them. That's where you'll do it in the service. You can set up automatic refreshes to pull in data based on your timeframes. A little bit more about how to share in Power BI. When you go to publish and push that PBIX file that you built in desktop to the service, it breaks into two asset types. You've got reports and data sets. We just kind of looked at that before. Reports are the Gorger tiles and visualizations. Data set are the underlying business logic. Oftentimes, you'll have two different PBX files with two different data models, but one of my favorite things about Power BI is being able to point to existing data model and creating new assets, relying on that existing data model that has a lot of work put into it. And this is where we, again, talk about that single source of truth. You've got a data set, it's got the work done in it. You pulled it out of PE data warehouse, you trust it, it's ready to go for other reports. And then again, dashboards, a little bit different than other BI tools. So just remember, it is not your final end product. That is more selecting each individual KPI from different reports to be able to present to leadership or different employees in the organization. So let's talk about the total ecosystem. You've got Power BI desktop development. Those are your PBIX files. You then publish those into the Power BI service, and it goes into what's called a workspace. And this is where you can choose what's going to end up making it to the end users. You say, hey, I like this report. I want it to go to the certain organizational members, but I don't want them to access everything in here. I don't want them to access the underlying data set. This is where a lot of the governance administration settings are going to take place. And then when you publish and print and distribute to an app, that is going to be like an editor looking at all the information they want to finally make it to that newspaper that gets sold. So you'll generally have certain reports, certain dashboards selected for the users that need them. It's really important to focus on this entire ecosystem early on when establishing Power BI at your organization, because a lot of times what we see is just kind of letting the beast run wild, where there's not proper governance administration. Everybody's creating workspaces. The ecosystem gets incredibly cluttered. It's hard to see what is what. It's hard to know who's responsible for which area. So I gave you a broad overview of that Power BI ecosystem. I tried to talk you through some of the reasons why we think Practice Engine Data Warehouse with this report bundle that you get free with your Practice Engine Data Warehouse is such a good value, so much time to value, and really just a great package. But I do want to show you a little bit about how this works, how easy it is. So here's my service. This is app.powerbi.com. I just got my Practice Engine Data Warehouse. I've got data in there. It is up and running. Now I want to use my Power BI reports. So I just go to the apps section. I go to get apps, and I'm just going to type in practice. And here you'll see our SkyPoint Cloud logo with Practice Engine, Power BI report bundle, and I just hit get it now. And it will automatically do it for me because I already have my credentials in there. And so I'm going to download it. And as this download, it won't take too long. I kind of want to go over some of those pre-included bundles that you get straight out of the gate. So you're going to get actual year-over-year comparison, invoice dollars and hours. You're going to get trailing 12 months invoicing. You're going to get invoicing by service for trailing 12 months, rolling 12-month invoicing, hours billable and non-billable, budget to actual hours, WIP and AR aging report, and customer acquisition, and finally, staff reporting. So you get quite a lot of value straight out of the gate with the bundle, free to download. It happens pretty quick. I bet when I go back to apps, it is ready to go. Let me refresh. There we go. So you'll see it on the bottom here. You click that, and this is going to be connected to some sample data. So I can kind of walk through some of the different options. And if you haven't used Power BI, it is a really handy dandy tool. Want to use government contract consulting, compare year over year, current year versus prior year. There's just so many things that right out of the box you can drill down into. You can really get advanced metrics and really important tools that you need, that you want, but you don't have to pay for this. You don't have to, come in contract with a group like us to build this all out for you. This would probably cost about $40,000, $50,000 for us to build straight out of the gate. So this just gives you a laundry list of metrics and reports that you can access at your fingertips relatively quickly. Give you a quick walkthrough of connecting to it. I want to start with my 2021 data. I've got a database, and you will get credentials when you get your Practice Engine Data Warehouse. You will get Azure AD credentials that will allow you to log into this. It is a very simplified process. I'm going to walk you through it real quick. I won't load the data up because it does take quite a bit of time to do that, but I just want to give you an idea of how simple this process is. So I've got my database name here. I'm going to copy and paste. It's the first day of the week. 0 would be Sunday, 1 would be Monday. I always like to start on Monday. And then we go to the server. Again, you'll get these credentials. Hit next. And it'll just take a moment. Then you're going to add your username. Generally best to start with basic for your authentication method. You'll get a password again with your credentials when you get Practice Engine Data Warehouse, and then sign and connect. And it will take some time to load up. There might be just a problem here, but once you get your credentials, it will be that easy. It'll take some time to load your data in, and then you will have your data, which you can put your branding on, ready to go out of the gate, included with your Practice Engine Data Warehouse. And then where does SkyPoint come in is, these are templatized reports. These are going to be something that you can't edit really. You can't really add any new features to it. And I know a lot of accounting firms, we've worked with several of them over the years. You guys all have slightly different ways of doing things. So really where SkyPoint comes in is helping you create those customized reports. And we have done litany of different reports for clients. We work really closely because it's already in Practice Engine Data Warehouse. We already know how to use the data. It's ready for us to manipulate. It's ready for us to use in Power BI. It's much easier for us. So it's going to be less costly for you. We have done reporting like staff hours and revenue, time and expense by client, group, job, date, or rate, staff details, staff standard charge rates, WIP allocation by invoice, open invoices to track down anonymous payments and help figure out what invoice they may go against. We've really done so many different customized reports, and really the partnership is so strong because we've worked with Practice Engine for so long. We've helped them model that data. We know how it's going to work, and we can deliver time to value for you guys quickly. And I really thank you guys for sitting with us today. I've loved working with Practice Engine over the years. I've developed a great relationship with Jim, and we work very, very closely. So if any of you guys ever have any questions about getting Practice Engine Data Warehouse stood up, if you have any questions about Power BI, you get a free consulting hour from us when you stand this up, so we can help you walk through the process. And we are here to support if you ever have any additional needs. And that's all I have today. Thanks again. And again, it's Steve Micah, Business Transformation Consultant here at SkyPoint. I've really appreciated you guys coming today.
Thank you, Steve. All right, I guess that's the end of our show for today. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to your Iris sales rep, and have a great day.
Thanks again, everyone.
Let them trickle off here.